Okay, so I have loads of things I need to be researching right now for my university projects, but you want to know what I've been researching? Britney Spears. Hey guys, it's Gaia, what's up, and welcome back to another video. As you guys already know, unless you're new, I am a psychology with criminology student, and today I want to do a video that's slightly different to my previous kind of content. So unless you guys have been living under a rock, there has recently been a documentary released called Framing Britney Spears, and for a lot of people it has been a very hard-hitting thing to watch. So today I want to discuss the rise and fall of Britney Spears' career, and I want to basically put it to a debate. Was it nature or nurture? Was it always going to be inevitable for her to hit rock bottom and spiral? Or was this all simply heavily influenced by her surroundings? Like I said, I've never done one of these videos before, and I really do want to get into the nitty-gritty aspects of Britney's life and really look at how her life was actually really dark. I'll admit, when I heard about the documentary, I knew a little bit about what has happened to Britney Spears. Like, obviously we all know about the 2017 shaving of the head and the whole courtship issue at the moment, but for me, when I first heard about the whole Free Britney movement, I actually thought originally it was a meme. Not because of the way I am, but just because of the way it has been portrayed in the media. If you do like the sound of this video, don't forget to give it a massive thumbs up. And if you're new here, my name is Gaia and I'm a third year psychology student. So if you would like to see a little bit more of my crazy life and come along on my journey, feel free to click that subscribe button. Come join the family. But yeah, other than that, let's get right into this video. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about the dark reality of Britney Spears' life by breaking it up into sections. These sections will be things like family life, interviews, media, her love life, and the paparazzi. So I will be leaving the timestamps below, so feel free to skip to certain sections. Okay, so this video, the main question I really want to pitch is, was Britney Spears mentally ill, as everyone says she was, or was it an outcome of media and family abuse? And even if she was supposedly having a mental breakdown, does that really mean she deserves to be controlled the way she is currently, where her children have been taken away from her, her finances, any legal things? Speaking of legality, this video is just going to be centering around the psychological issues of Britney Spears' life, since I am not a lawyer, I have not studied law, I am a psychologist, or I'm studying to be one. So this video is going to be solely focusing on the psychological issues that do underpin Britney Spears' life. So first off, we're going to start with family life. Now, from what I've seen, Britney Spears' early life was not easy.
Britney Spears was born in Macomb, Mississippi, the second child to Lynn Irene Bridges and James Parnell Spears. She grew up in small town Kentwood, Louisiana, with her parents and her two siblings Brian and Jamie Lynn. Kentwood was such a small town with only a population of 2,122, with the median family income half of the national average, meaning many were at or below the poverty line. And this was the same for Britney's parents. Jamie's drinking problem got so bad that he struggled to keep down jobs, and even before Britney was born, Lynn even sought out a restraining order against Jamie as he would harass and physically harm her, especially if he had been drinking. This just shows that Britney was born into a very unstable home.
However, despite what many people know, Britney Spears was not only controlled by her dad, but also highly controlled by her mother, especially in the early years of her career. Her mother was basically the reason behind Britney Spears' marketing and the reason why she was marketed as a Christian, good kind of church girl, the whole virgin image, and also the baby-faced sex bomb that a lot of people know her for. Her mom was the reason why Britney Spears even got into the limelight herself. From an early age, her mother was able to see that Britney had potential and pushed her into singing and dancing lessons, which all contributed to how she then became a star. From the looks of it, they even struggled even more so because of the fact that they had to spend more money on Britney's singing and dancing lessons. By doing that, that was putting a financial strain on the family even more so. Not only that, but if Britney is growing up around this alcoholism of her father's and the domestic violence, there was probably a lot of tension and maybe even aggression in the household because of those factors. From the sound of it, her parents probably were not there for her the way that she needed them to, and thus didn't really teach her the coping mechanisms that she would then need in later life. Jamie Spears, her father, didn't actually ever really get involved with Britney and her fame, apart from once stating that his daughter was going to get him so rich that she was going to buy him a boat. Now, I think that kind of speaks volumes here. So as you guys can see, there were already issues in the family even before Britney was made, even before Britney was pushed into the limelight and the other things that were about to happened. She was already surrounded by such a negative atmosphere from a young age. I know for sure that would definitely have affected me if I was growing up in that position. The next thing I want to talk about is inappropriate interviews. Now, I actually, before I started researching this, I didn't actually know the extent of how many inappropriate interviews Britney Spears went through. Like, watching them actually really makes you feel sick.
You have the most adorable, pretty eyes. You have a boyfriend?
No, sir.
Why not?
They're mean.
Boyfriends? You mean all boys are mean? I'm not mean. How about me?
Well, it depends.
How do you feel about all the constant speculation about your virginity and whether you are a virgin or not?
There's one subject we didn't discuss. What was that? Everyone's talking about it.
What?
Well, your breasts.
My breasts.
You seem to get furious when a talk show host comes up with this subject.
It's crazy to think that some of those interviews only happened a few years ago, and I'm pretty sure if those were to happen now, they would not be allowed. Especially with movements such as the Me Too movement. I think definitely nowadays there are a lot more talks about misogyny and sexism in the industry, especially in Hollywood and the music industry, and the differences between men and women, the way that they're both treated. I know for a fact if that was a guy would not have been asked some of the questions that Britney Spears got asked. It even got to the point that there was one interview where she literally broke down in tears and politely asked for the interview to be paused.
Yeah, it was a weird. Ew, I'm embarrassed. Can we?
And it honestly astounds me that those people who were interviewing her can go to sleep at night not thinking how their tactless words could have an impact on her. A lot of those interviews were also stemmed by the fact Britney Spears' mom had marketed her, that she was supposed to be this good girl who had stated that she was not going to have sex until marriage, yet would also wear quite provocative clothing on stage and in music videos. And by marketing her like this, it was almost like Britney Spears was not allowed to grow as a person. And you can see it throughout, not just through her early career, but throughout her entire life of interviews. Every single time she made a mistake or she was involved romantically with someone, Britney was picked at by interviewers for her actions and what kind of message that would be giving to girls who were younger.
I'm 17.
I'm old enough to be your mother. I don't want to see you in that shirt again. You promise me next time, the white shirt, you put a little cute vest.
I would definitely.
You promise me?
Really, if I had an opportunity to shoot Britney Spears, I think I would.
Oh, that's horrible.
Well,
That's really bad.
because of the example for kids and how hard it is to be a parent and keep all of this away from your kids.
You're an adult woman. You're a grown-up. Britney Spears is 18. She's like, you know, takes 2 Band-Aids and she's singing there. I don't appreciate that.
She's a nice girl.
She's very nice, but the trampy outfits have to go.
Everybody's gonna have opinion, and you can't please everybody. But I mean, as long as you're comfortable, I say wear what you want to wear. You know what I mean? That's all in how you carry yourself and how you live, and you know that's what it boils down to.
Despite what some people think, I think Britney did really handle some of those questions really well. And we've all seen it before where Disney stars or child stars have grown up in the public eye and are constantly criticized. Like, a great example would be Miley Cyrus in like 2013 when she was making songs like Wrecking Ball and the VMAs performance with Robin Thicke. She was being painted in such a negative light, but that was simply because of the fact that she had grown up as a child star, that everyone expected her to remain this virtuous, innocent girl, and that it wasn't okay for her to make mistakes or even just find herself. And I think another example of that is Demi Lovato, especially with hearing about her overdosing and the reports recently of her having like 3 strokes and a heart attack. Even though I'm sure not everyone goes through an overdose, at the end of the day, everyone has mistakes. That's the whole point of life. We all do things to learn lessons, and that is precisely what people like Britney and Miley and Demi are doing. Partly also because of the fact that they're women and they were originally children's stars. It's almost like there is a higher pressure on celebrities to just be perfect, to be that role model constantly, and that even a tiny slip up literally causes them to get cancelled or their career to get completely ruined. If I knew that at any given moment that my career could just be over like that, I know that would have a lot on my mental health. So as I mentioned earlier, the interviews only got worse as she began to have public relationships with people such as Justin Timberlake. That one was probably the most famous one and probably the most detrimental one, really, to her career and the way that the media and everyone else saw her and began to continuously paint her as this villain. If you didn't know, Britney Spears originally met Justin Timberlake in the Mickey Mouse Club, then went on to date a few years later where they had a very public breakup. He then went on to famously release the song Cry Me a River, where it has an equally famous music video depicting Justin with this Britney lookalike and painting her as the villain. I think especially in a society where the male perspective is really prioritized compared to the females, this explains why opinions of Britney just eventually worsened. I can't even imagine what that must have been like for Britney. Not just going through a breakup, which sucks anyway, but having it in the public eye and then having your ex publish a breakup song like that and have a lookalike of you in the music video. Like, I can't help but look at that and be reminded of a very similar situation of my own where I was in high school, and long story short, I wanted space from this ex and he did not take it that way. It got out that we broke up and pretty much turned the entire year against me at school, and I ended up basically becoming the social pariah, and I lost a lot of friends in the process. There are still a lot of friends that still don't talk to me because they believe the one side of the story. But at the end of the day, there are three sides to the story. There is his, mine, and the truth. And I'm not saying mine or Britney's was the truth, but I feel like in breakups, people are so quick to pick sides without actually realizing the impact it had on that person. Like, I know it affected me so much to know that my friends didn't want to believe me and wanted to view me as this heartbreaking bitch who broke my ex's heart and didn't ever actually ask my side of the story. And that was probably the case of Britney as well. A lot of people probably just believed Justin, and this was seen in interviews such as this one.
You did something that caused him so much pain, so much suffering, and yet he's left the impression that you weren't faithful, that you betrayed the relationship.
I think everyone has a side to their story.
Where Britney is literally being asked what she actually did, like what did she do that was so bad. The next thing I want to move on to is the media. Now, I think they were a very important part in why Britney spiraled, because after things such as the Timberlake breakup, the media were constantly blasting Britney for whatever she did. There were constant scandals, and these followed her no matter what she did. Like, she would literally get harassed for doing normal things, and it even got to a point where after she had just given birth to her first son, she was even being painted by the media as a bad mom. Now, I know that would definitely have an impact on me or most people. Now, around the time that the media was being specifically horrible about her being a mom, she was already pregnant with her second child. Now, on top of being pregnant, having all those hormones circulating in your body and adjusting to life as a mother, Britney was also having marriage problems. Now, having all of that, you know, while being hormonal, having all those bodily changes when you're pregnant, having all of that and being blasted by the media for everything you do, who could be surprised that Britney was being so badly affected by this? Like, I'm surprised she has any mental health left, honestly. From the stuff that I've read, from the way that people have treated her, it's honestly been so disgusting and so sad. And the last topic I want to talk about is the paparazzi. As you guys all know, paparazzi are known for literally swarming and harassing celebrities, but I don't think I've ever seen anything as bad as the paparazzi that Britney had to face. At those times, they also didn't have such strict rules on paparazzi the way that they do now, and you can really see that, like, in these images and photos, they were literally relentless. And having that lack of privacy 24/7, you know, being papped, whether it's going out to a club and an event or just simply getting a Starbucks, having that constant paparazzi attention and media attention is definitely going to affect you psychologically. Since an early age, Britney really has not had any privacy or any really ownership of herself, and I think that really does explain incidences like her famously shaving her head, where a lot of people really thought that that was the pinnacle of her breakdown. But shaving your head does not mean in any circumstances that you're definitely having an outburst. Like, I know so many girls, including myself, so many people that when they go through breakups or they go through hard situations, they change their hair, they dye their hair. Like, I can probably count several times where I have drastically changed my hair just because I want something new. I've just left a difficult relationship. And that's probably exactly what Britney's going through. She's having such a hard time with the media and the paparazzi and her personal life that she just felt like she wanted to do that. And that does not mean that she's mentally ill in any shape or form. It is actually quite normal to want a change after having such a bad situation. Also, a lot of people have said her shaving her head was a symbol of her trying to get back her ownership of herself, not just from her mother, but from everyone. With the double-sided way that the world viewed Britney, she was constantly being told what she could and could not do and what she was. And I think the shaving her hair was a perfect example of her also just wanting to retain that back, being like, no, I want to do what I want to do. This is me. I just want to control something of my life for once, you know. I'm not surprised, even with the courtship at the moment, like, she's been controlled so much. So I think it's only normal in that situation to act in that way. Even when she admitted herself to things like rehab, she was not treated the way that people are normally treated when they go to rehab. Not only is rehab supposed to be a private place, but it also is supposed to be largely focused around mental health and getting better. Yet even when she went to rehab, she was constantly bombarded by the press and the paparazzi, and not even having privacy in those moments where you literally feel like the lowest of the low, that is going to have an impact on you. I think the main take-home message from the documentary and other research that I have done is that we need to have a lot more conversations about things like misogyny, sexism in the industry, mental health stigma, and the mistreatment of celebrities by things like the media and the paparazzi. I think stories like Britney Spears has really shown that this needs to stop. This really can have a detrimental effect on people's lives. And I'm not surprised movements like Free Britney have risen to help her, because from what I've seen, Britney Spears' life has been so sad. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there for today. Thank you so much for watching this. I really hope you did enjoy me doing a deep dive into Britney Spears' life and reacting to some of the horrible events that she has gone through and trying to unpick it as a psychology student. It's been a different kind of video than what I normally do, and I have really enjoyed looking into this. Like I said earlier, if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a massive thumbs up. Also, after watching this video, I'd love to know what you guys think. Comment down below what your thoughts are about the Free Britney movement and the whole courtship at the moment, like the whole legal system. And if any of you guys have watched the documentary, let me know down in the comments. I'd really love to hear your side of the argument. But yeah, other than that, I've been Gaia. This has been me reacting to Britney Spears, and I'll see you next time for more content. Bye!
Oh.